Dear friends, this is episode number 47. In this episode, we will be dealing with Order 32. Suits by or against minors and persons of unsound mind. Though the next friend, guardian and all those things occur day to day in the functioning of the courts, I think the lawyers, it would be better if the lawyers fully understand the various nuances of Order 32. And also the law students understand what is the scope of Order 32. By appointing a guardian for a minor defendant or a next friend for the plaintiff, what is being done is to protect the interest of the minor. At the same time, suppose a suit is filed against a person describing him as a minor while really he is a major, and appointing a guardian for him, he is not protecting the interest of the minor, then that will be a disservice to the minor. Likewise, a minor plaintiff represented by an ex-friend who has interest adverse to that of the minor. All these things may at least occasionally arise, and therefore the court must be vigilant, and the court is, as per the provisions, it is the responsibility of the court to protect the interest of the minor. Courts are the guardians of minors and persons under disability. Therefore, the duty of the court is much more than that of all. And this is one order in the CPC at two places. Mention is made about cost being imposed on the advocates. It is a rare thing in the CPC. The advocates are directed to pay the costs. In certain circumstances, we will deal with those rules. So the responsibility of the lawyers also is much more. The ultimate object is to protect the interest of the minors and other persons under disability. Now let us see the various provisions. Along with Order 32, it is also necessary to see the relevant civil rules of practice in the respective states. In Kerala, it is Rule 212 and 213 of the Civil Rules of Practice Kerala. Now let us see Order 32. Rule 1. Minor to sue by next friend. Every suit by a minor shall be instituted in his name by a person who in such suit shall be called the next friend of the minor. Who is the next friend? Let us see. Explanation. In this order, minor means a person who has not attained his majority within the meaning of Section 3 of the Indian Majority Act, where the suit relates to any of the matters mentioned in Clause A and B of Section 2 of that Act, or to any other matter. Minor means a person who has not attained the age of 18 years, or where a guardian is appointed 21 years. Now, Rule 2. Where suit is instituted without next friend, plain to be taken off the file. Where a suit is instituted by or on behalf of a minor without a next friend, the defendant may apply to have the plaint taken off the file with cost to be paid by the pleader or other person by whom it was presented. This is one rule where the pleader is also responsible. See, suppose a suit is filed by A, who is described as an adult man. Nothing is said about his age. It is not also indicated that he is a minor. no next friend is there, and he files it, he himself, who is really a minor, the suit is irregular, or a person who is otherwise a major, who has attained majority, is described as a minor and he is represented by a person called next friend, that is also bad. So, where the suit is instituted by on behalf of a minor without a next friend, say in a suit it is described as a minor but no next friend, the formalities have not been complied with. It is instituted minor, so and so, plaintiff. Here, the defendant may apply, even otherwise the court will point out the defect and the defect has to be cured. The office of the court will do it, but still it may sometimes escape the attention of those people. Then the defendant has got a right to apply to have the plaint taken off the file with cost to be paid by the pleader. Who will pay the cost? Not the minor, but the pleader. Because a suit is being filed by a person described as minor, but the advocate did not take necessary steps to appoint a next friend for him. The necessary formalities have not been complied with. There the lawyer is made responsible. Notice of such application shall be given to such person, and the court, after hearing his objections, if any, makes such order as in the matter as it thinks fit. The application referred to is that the application by the defendant requesting to take the plaint taken off the file. Then, this is to be read along with Rule 5.2. Rule 5.2 contains a similar provision in another contingency. Rule 5. Representation of minor by next friend or guardian for the suit. I will consider Rule 5 also along with this. Every application to the court on behalf of a minor, other than an application under Rule 10 sub Rule 2, shall be made by his next friend or by his guardian for the suit. We will come to this again. Every order made in a suit on an application before the court, in or by which a minor is in a way concerned or affected without such minor being represented by a next friend or guardian for the suit as the case may be discharged. Every order passed by the court in such a situation will be discharged. And where the pleader or the party at whose instance such order was obtained knew or might reasonably have known the fact of such minority, with cost to be paid by such pleader. Probably this is the only provision where the pleaders, that is advocates, are made responsible to pay the costs. So here we have seen in Rule 2. Now let us see Rule 2a. Security to be furnished by next friend when so ordered. Where a suit has been instituted by on behalf of a minor by his next friend, the court may at any stage of the suit, either of its own motion or on the application of any defendant, and for reasons to be recorded, order the next friend to give security for the payment of all costs incurred or likely to be incurred by the defendant. The next friend can be directed to give security. Security for what? Security for payment of the costs of the defendant likely to be incurred by the defendant. How can this power be exercised? A minor is there, represented by his next friend. At any stage of the suit, the court may pass an order to give security by the next friend, at whose instance, either of its own motion or on the application by the defendant. Where such a suit is instituted by an indigent person, the security shall include the court fees payable to the government. What is indigency? Pauperism. The word pauper, forma pauperis, occurs in one rule in Order 33. Formerly it was pauper, but that expression does not find a place now. It is indigent person, a person who is incapable of paying the court fee. We will come to Order 33 after completing Order 32. So, where such a suit is instituted by an indigent person, he is a minor, represented by an ex-friend. The next friend can be directed to furnish security for the costs of the defendant, that the court may do either suo motu or on the application of the defendant. The cost likely to be incurred by the defendant. That includes the court fee payable in the case. An indigent person sues as an indigent person. The court grants permission. He need not pay the court fee. But if he fails in the suit, he has to pay the court fee. If he succeeds in the suit, that will form part of the cost in the suit, and that will be recovered from the defendant. In any case, the government has to get the money. There is no escape from it. We will deal with it, Order 33 next and so. So the government has to get the court fee. This is only postponement of payment of court fee by the indigent person. Suppose the court fee payable is 1 lakh. A person who is a coolie files a suit for a big amount where the court fee payable is 1 lakh. He has no money to pay. He has no asset. He has no other method by which he can raise the fund. He will be permitted to file the suit as an indigent person. There are certain parameters to be satisfied. The court will check it. The other side also will get an opportunity. But then that court fee will be recovered from whom? If the minor succeeds, if the indigent person succeeds, then that will form part of the cost in the suit and it will be recovered from the defendant. And if the minor plaintiffs, that will be payable by the plaintiff. How it is recovered, that is a matter for the government to do. Yes. So this is the power to be exercised by the court, where the suit is instituted by the minor represented by an ex-friend. Security can be ordered to be paid by to be given by the next friend, and that power can be exercised either suo motu or on the application of the defendant. And where the suit is filed by the minor represented by an ex-friend as an indigent person without paying the court fee, the security may include the court fee that is payable in the case. The provisions of Rule 2 of Order 35 shall, so far as may be, apply to a suit where the court makes an order under this rule directing security to be furnished. What is Rule 2 of Order 35? On failure to furnish security, the suit will be dismissed. So that consequence will follow. A suit is filed by a minor represented by an ex-friend. The court suo motu or on the application of the defendant directs the next friend to furnish security for the cost of the defendant, which is likely to be incurred by him. There is a failure on the part of the next friend. The same procedure as in Order 32 Rule 5, Order 35 Rule 2 will apply and the suit will be dismissed. This is Rule 2A, which was inserted by Amendment Act 1976. 3. Guardian the suit to be appointed by the court for minor defendant. So we have seen next friend for the minor. If the minor is a plaintiff, suppose the minor is a defendant, then the person who protects the interest of the party, minor, is called the guardian. So you cannot use the expression next friend or guardian interchangeably or as in ordinary parlance. You can use only in the legal terms. So in the legal parlance, a minor plaintiff is to be represented by an ex-friend, not guardian, and a minor defendant to be represented by a guardian. That is the difference between ex-friend and guardian. Practically the same thing to protect the interest of the minor. But there are certain differences, who will do it, etc., and all those things, who is competent to be appointed as a guardian. All those things come, which we will deal with it in the subsequent rules. But please take note that whenever you are referring to an ex-friend, then that means it is relating to the minor plaintiff. Whenever you are using the expression guardian ad litem, L-I-T-E-M, guardian for the purpose of the suit, you are referring to a minor defendant. A guardian to be appointed under the other laws and a guardian to be appointed for the purpose of the suit, there are differences. It need not necessarily be a guardian as in the other case. So even if there is a guardian appointed by some court, there are provisions where the court can permit any other person to be represent the minor defendant by a guardian. Those are all provisions which we will see subsequently. Now let us see rule 3. Guardian for the suit to be appointed by court for minor defendant. Where the defendant is a minor, the court, on being satisfied of his minority, shall appoint a proper person to be the guardian for the suit for such minor. So who is to be appointed as the guardian? A proper person. Who is a proper person? We will see. An order for appointment of the guardian for the suit may be obtained upon application in the name of and on behalf of the minor or by the plaintiff. How can an appointment of guardian for the suit may be obtained? Upon the application in the name of and on behalf of the minor or by the plaintiff. So, the application to appoint a guardian can be made on behalf of the minor or by the plaintiff. Usually this is being done by the plaintiff. Plaintiff institutes a suit against 5 defendants. One is a minor. It will be mentioned in the cause title itself. Defendant number 5 is within brackets minor, aged so and so, represented by guardian so and so. So the court will not appoint him as the guardian unless notice is issued to that person and his willingness is obtained. If he is not willing, the court will appoint somebody else, or even the plaintiff can suggest somebody else. That is a procedure. So the application to appoint a guardian for the minor can be filed on behalf of the minor or by the plaintiff. Usually when the suit is filed, it will be that minor will not come at that stage. So it will be done by the plaintiff. So even if, suppose the cause title in the plaintiff, aged so and so, son of so and so, everything is mentioned. Defendants 1 to 5, names and father's name, etc. Age is also mentioned. But no mention is made he is a minor. Fifth defendant, aged 5 years, son of so and so, so and so. The office of the court will note it and will return the plaint for curing the defect. The office will point out that this is a minor, a guardian is to be appointed for the minor. So it has to be presented after curing the defects. Suppose it escapes the notice of the office of the court, then the defendant can point out, the minor defendant can apply to appoint a guardian, and that application can be filed by this proposed guardian. The court will make enquiries and appoint him if he is a fit person. Then 4. No order shall be made on any application under this rule except upon notice to any guardian of the minor appointed or declared by an authority competent in that behalf. Suppose a guardian is appointed for the minor in some other proceedings. regular proceedings for appointment of guardian. Court declares a person as the guardian. So he has got guardian for the person, guardian for the property, or both. It is possible. So that guardian appointed by the court, which is empowered to appoint such guardian under the particular law, he will be entitled to deal with protect the interest of the person of the minor. He will be entitled to spend money on behalf of the minor, and there are certain set of rules under the Guardians and Wards Act. And see, such application, no order shall be made in an application except upon notice to any guardian of the minor appointed or declared by any authority competent in that behalf. Suppose a guardian is already appointed by a competent court. So no order shall be passed here to appoint any other person as the guardian except upon notice to such guardian, or where there is no such guardian. Suppose no guardian is appointed by any court competent to do it. He is a minor defendant is there, and it is mentioned in the plaint, minor so and so represented by his neighbor so and so. The court will not accept it unless, and where there is no such guardian, no guardian also appointed under the laws, then upon notice to the father, or there is no father, to the mother, or where there is no father or mother, to other natural guardian of the minor, or where there is no father, mother, or other natural guardian, to the person in whose care the minor is, and after hearing any objection which may be urged on behalf of any person served with the notice under this sub. So how it works? I file a suit against 5 defendants. 5th defendant is shown as a minor. I state in the plaint, minor is represented by a guardian, and who is his neighbor. He will protect the interest. An affidavit is filed. Other requirements are also satisfied. The court will inquire whether any guardian is appointed or not. That has to be stated in the affidavit. Then, if there is no guardian appointed, then the court will issue notice to the father of this minor, or if there is no father, to the mother. If there is no father or mother, then to other natural guardian, or if there is none, to the person in whose custody the minor is, under whose care the minor is. And after complying with all these formalities, then alone a third party will be appointed as the guardian for the minor. I think I skipped sub-rule 3. That is why this affidavit business did not arise then. Sub-rule 3. I forgot. I skipped. Such application shall be supported. Which application? An application for the appointment of guardian. Shall be supported by an affidavit verifying the fact that the proposed guardian has no interest in the matter in controversy in the suit adverse to that of the minor, and that he is a fit person to be so appointed. That affidavit is to be filed. Suppose I file the suit against 5 persons. 5th defendant is a minor. I state in the plaint, minor aged 5 years, represented by his guardian so and so, who is a neighbor. I have to file an affidavit verifying whether any guardian was appointed by any authority or court, whether the father, mother, and all those details must be furnished, and the court will not appoint my suggested person as the guardian of the minor for the purpose of the suit unless notice is issued to the father, or there is no father, mother, or there is none, to other natural guardian, or if there is no such person, then to the person under whose care the minor is. Then hearing all of them, then only a third party will be appointed as the guardian ad litem for the minor defendant. So this affidavit is a requirement. What is the affidavit verifying? The fact that the proposed guardian has no the matter in controversy in the suit adverse to that of the minor. Suppose I suggest for the minor defendant, suppose there is only one defendant, that is a minor. There is nothing wrong in filing a suit against the minor. I claim certain right or title in respect of an item of immovable property. That immovable property may be standing in the name of the minor. I may be having a claim, I claim title and say that the minor has no title. So the suit can be filed against whom? Against the minor, represented by a guardian. I propose a guardian who has some interest against the minor and who will dance to my tunes so that the case can be sabotaged. The minor's interest will not be protected and the minor will be adversely affected in the suit by this proposed guardian, who is later appointed as the guardian ad litem, conducting the suit in such a manner. There are various ways and means. A show of contest can be. That happens in court, at least occasionally. There may be some defendants who may really support the plaintiff, but they will not say that they are supporting. And they are really supporting. And such things are there in the court. Make a show of contest and then really support. And make a show of contest in the sense that as if records will show that it was a contested application, but there was no real contest. Collusion, fraud, all those things are possible. In many cases it is being brought to the notice of the court. So here, when a minor is there, such things should not happen, should never happen. That is why an affidavit is insisted, where it should be stated that the proposed guardian has no interest adverse to that of a minor or that of the minor. Then 4 we have seen, 4A, the court may in any case, if it thinks fit, issue notice under sub-rule 4 to the minor also. So the minor also, suppose minor is 17.5 years. He has got to some extent maturity. Only thing is that he has not attained the majority, 18 years. He is 17 years and 9 months. Practically there is no difference between 17 years, 9 months and 18 years. The maturity almost the same. But at the same time, technically speaking, he is a minor. So a guardian is to be appointed. So the court, if court thinks fit, it may hear the minor also. Suppose in my suit, I propose to appoint a person as the guardian for the minor who really is not projected as though projected by me as the person having no interest against the minor, is really having an interest against the minor and in my support. I project this man. And the minor is aged 17 years and 9 months. If the court thinks fit, court may ask the minor, have you got any objection appointing this person? Do you know this person? Whether he will protect your interest? Then this person will say, no. This person is the person sought to be appointed as a guardian is really a close aid and confidant of the plaintiff. Then the court will not appoint such person as the guardian for the minor. These are all the procedures to ensure what? To ensure fairness and to ensure justice being done to the minor and to see that the minor's interests are protected to the maximum extent possible and that his interests are not adversely affected only because of his minority or other disability. And it is a concern of the court to ensure that. That is why all these procedures are there. See, one may ask why all these technical procedure, for whose benefit? There is a purpose. That purpose is clear when we carefully go through all these provisions. Now, 5. A person appointed under sub-rule 1 to be guardian for the suit for a minor shall, unless his appointment is terminated by retirement, removal or death, continue as such throughout all proceedings arising out of the suit, including proceedings in the appellate or revisional court and any proceedings in the execution of a decree. So a guardian is appointed, guardian ad litem for the suit is appointed for a minor defendant. His guardianship will continue throughout. In appeal, second appeal, revision, execution, everything, unless his guardianship is terminated by retirement, removal or death. Retirement is that the guardian so appointed may say, I may be relieved. The court may inquire into it and appoint another person as the guardian for the minor for the purpose of the suit. There is such a procedure. Removal. Suppose the person who is appointed as the guardian for the minor is found unfit to be a person to protect the interest of the minor and he is acting against the interest of the minor. The court will remove him. So until the guardian retires, not retirement from his job, retirement from the business of this guardianship, or is terminated, removal or death, his guardianship will, for the purpose of the suit, will continue for the purpose of appeal, second appeal, as appeal before the Supreme Court, execution and all other proceedings. Any proceeding in the execution also. Then, this is Rule 3, Guardian. Now we will see the rest of it in the next episode. Thank you.